Welcome back to the Country Computer Consultant. Things are quiet out here. Cows should be quiet now that they just ate. Thing that's been kicking my tail lately is email not getting there. What I've seen really happen a lot is email getting blocked from my clients out to their different friends, family, clients, co-workers. Mainly out of the domain or out of the network. So out there on the web, they're just not getting there. And this can be a real pain because, as we've seen, internet, web surfing, electronic commerce, and email has become our Achilles heel. And a lot of companies, it's become a mission-critical entity to have electronic correspondence get there. And so it's my job with got about 100 clients in Washington County here. About 60 of them are active. Some flow in, flow out throughout the month. Send about 60 invoices out a month. And I'm just seeing more and more over the past 3 months of email not getting there. And since I'm the web host guy, the web authoring guy, I set up all the email boxes, on the website and on Outlook and Exchange and even some of the web accounts. I got to make it all work. Either I have to make sure that it gets there, figure out why it didn't get there if it didn't, and fix it to where that doesn't happen again. And I'm just constantly chasing that stuff on different levels. Number one, way upstream are the providers and the ISPs. Like the big one is AT&T. They're big here in Texas. They're the top dog around here. And what they're doing is when they sense some alarm goes off that a SMTP server is sending out what they see as spam, or they might have one user from that IP address of the server that's spewing out spam, they'll blacklist the IP address of that server. Unfortunately, some of these servers might have hundreds, if not thousands, of domains on them. And each domain might have 50 or 500 email addresses sending mail out. So one blocked IP could affect 10, potentially tens of thousands of users that can no longer get to someone, say at John Deans at sbcglobal.net, cannot receive email from that server with that blocked IP. So I've had almost a dozen of them over the past couple months. Now, a couple ways to get around that. The hard way, if I have control, before I found the second way, I'll tell you about the hard way I did it first, is that I have multiple servers within my web hosting service that I can migrate my web accounts to, which has the domain and all the associated email boxes with that domain and website. So I can move it from a Texas server to California, try to stay away from them, to Carolina, and about 4 different states. Sometimes there's some in Florida. Basically, I see who my highest uptime is. I like to shoot at 99.9, which is 3 nines. They guarantee 99.5. So I see who has the best service, who's had the best luck, and then I migrate the client to. Now that takes, a good 24 hours, sometimes 36, even 48 hours for all the DNS propagation where it works its way through the web. But if you do that on a Friday, by Monday it's usually settled out. Now that's the hard way. The easy way to get around this AT&T stuff is you go to att.net/blocks, put you through this this online prompting system that you say who you are from this IP that is blocked, that it's valid, and you got to choose a reason why you think or you say that it's no longer a suspect, why it should be removed from the blacklist. And you'll get an automated response within about, hour and a half. That's what has happened lately. But they say it takes 24 to 48 hours, again 2 days, for it to take effect. Now, I've been using that over the past month and a half, and it works 2/3 of the time. I stopped getting the automated kickback saying that you have been blocked by AT&T, but 1 out of 3, it still doesn't go through. I don't know where it's being blocked. So at least that's a couple of things that you can try to get around that. A little bit further upstream, I'm seeing these appliances like Barracuda and some other fancy gateway router firewalls that filter a lot of the incoming mail, and then they themselves form their own whitelist blacklist, blocking out, again, suspected email spamming sources. Sometimes my servers again get tagged. Nothing that my clients are doing, but somebody else, my client, I've got like max of about 5 or 6 domains on one server. But that one server is not on mine. I mean, again, I lease that out through a third-party hosting. That one server might have, again, several hundred, if not a couple thousand domains. So it takes one Yahoo to get that one IP blacklisted. So, again, I think it was on the Barracuda. I was able to browse through it because it sends you a kickback saying that you've been blocked. But if you want to request this taking you off, fill this in. I fill that in. I've been taken off a couple of the Barracuda systems, so that's nice. A little bit closer to home, there's the filters that are put into the client's workstation. There's CA anti-spam. I'll see that a lot. Now there, you can't really do that from remote. You basically got to call the guy you're trying to send mail to, and say, hey, I've been trying to send you mail. I know you're fussing that you're not getting my mail, but look at your spam filter. I'm probably in your spam box or in your junk mail box. Check it, and then you usually have to right-click it, set not as spam, and then okay, now here comes my guy to feed the cow, so they're going to fuss again, even though they're eating one bale right now. So you might have to call them and get them to take you off their blacklist. There's one more way. Oh, sometimes on the filtering, let's go back upstream one more time. Like I have a Spam Assassin enabled on a lot of my clients. This is a reverse thing to keep my clients from getting spammed. So they can manage that too. There's a score, it's a sliding bar that I set. I usually take the default, but sometimes some of their friends get knocked out to where my clients don't get the spam. Don't get their mail because they think it's spam. And so what we have to do there is we have to add them to our whitelist so they don't get blocked. So again, you see that just because they're not getting the mail, it's not just one source. It could be way upstream at the provider, the ISP. It could be at the gateway, usually the hardware appliance that's sometimes even ahead of the firewall at the site, sending or receiving. It could be at the website. There's a Spam Assassin that's built into a lot of these Apache servers for the web host. Check those. Come downstream to the desktop. See if it's some sort of anti-spam software that's throwing it out. A lot of that stuff is built into Norton now. And finally, look at the rules. They might have set some rule. They might have accidentally right-click and consider this sender as junk mail, and their own junk mail filter that's built into Outlook or Outlook Express might be throwing it off into the junk mail folder or even the deleted file. So, as either the top tech guy at your company or a user yourself, or as a country computer consultant, you got to check all that stuff, and you spend a lot of time, especially if somebody's involved in some sort of lawsuit, and the email's got to be tracked back and forth, or it's time sensitive. You can get into some hairy deals to where you have to make sure it gets there. So use all those things I've talked about. Try to keep it simple. Try to keep your spam filtering simple and central. And don't have multiple ones doing it because you'll be chasing your tail for days trying to figure that out. Try to keep the spam blocking at one source. Help these people, get their mail. That's what we're for. So, this is the Country Computer Consultant. Have a good day.